Hello, this is Natalie with the Wisdom Within, and this is a segment on Intuition Primer, your magical inner compass. And in this segment, we're talking about intuition's messengers, the pitfalls of intuition, and intuition myths. So let's start with intuition's messengers. These are the times where your intuition is like tapping on your shoulder, trying to get your attention, trying to give you information that could be very helpful to you, but for whatever reason, you're running around and you're not listening. So these come through as, I'm gonna read them off here, nagging feelings, a persistent thought, like you just can't shake that thought. It keeps, something keeps coming into your mind that you should go see this, go call that person maybe. And when you call that person, when you finally give in to that persistent thought, you call that person, you find out that they weren't well. And this was Spirit's way of letting you know that here's your last chance actually to speak with that person and let them know you care and love them. Or it could be some other information that's received or why you had to call them. But that's just an example of how our thoughts can be persistent, and when we follow it through and we call that person, you know, we find out news that explained why it was urgent that we call them now rather than later. Your intuition as a messenger, when it's trying to get your attention, it can also come through humor. You know, if you might kind of crack a joke about something that actually ends up coming true. This is when your intuition is trying to communicate with you what you know or about something, or what it's sharing with you so you can know about something. It may also come through as wonder, anxiety, curiosity, or having a hunch about something, like I just have a feeling I should go there, or I have a hunch that this would work out if I did it this way. And if it happens, you know, once or twice and you pay attention to it and you follow up, you thought, wow, that actually worked out fabulous doing it that way. So hunches. Others are gut feelings, like I just had a gut feeling that this was a good opportunity, and so I just jumped on it. And others are doubt, hesitation. You know, when we hesitate and we don't know why, it's kind of a cue to like slow down, tune in, and find out why were we hesitating. You know, for all intent and purposes, it could look like a great opportunity for us or a great thing to go do, but we're hesitating. That's our intuition trying to tell us something, like this experience isn't going to be good for us, or you need more information before you proceed, or something like this. Again, these all seem rather subtle, but that's how intuition works. It doesn't usually come in screaming and yelling and things like that. It works subtly through you know, through our body's primary senses and these fashions. It can also come in as fear, suspicion. You know, something just seems or feels suspicious, or you're apprehensive about something. And then the last one is fear. But I want to explain a little bit about fear, because I often have people ask me about what's the difference between me worrying about something or being fearful about something, and how can I tell the difference between that and my intuition? Well, first, know that when your intuition comes through, it comes in very factual. There's no emotion attached to it. It's just, here's the information, boom. You know, no matter how it comes through our senses, here is the information. It's very factual. Now, how we react to that information is a different story. Once we get the information, we can feel our heart accelerate. I got to take action, or here's a good opportunity, better seize it, that kind of thing. But when intuition comes through, it doesn't come through in a fearful way. It comes through just yeah, it comes through with no emotion whatsoever. It's just the facts. It's lacking emotion, in fact. So it would therefore be lacking fear and anxiety and all that. The other thing to keep in mind is that, say you're walking down a dark alley, and you've had a great night, everything's good, nothing's going on that makes you worry about anything, but all of a sudden the hair raises on the back of your neck, you get a funny feeling in your stomach and your heart, and you just feel like you better get out of here now. You just have this overwhelming sense that you need to get out of here. So that is your intuition coming through. Now, fear will kick in, and it will, immediately as that information comes through, it'll kick in. And the reason why fear will kick in that kind of situation is because it needs to get you to move. You need to run, get out of the way, get out of there, get out of that situation. Maybe a bomb's going to go off, or someone's going to do a drive-by shooting, whatever it was. You need to get out. You need to get out fast. So your body then reacts to it by infusing you with fear. It's that fight or flight symptom mechanism where it'll cause your heart rate to increase and your adrenaline to rush and your breathing to get quicker, and that's to give you what you need in order to be able to get out of there quicker. So that's a little bit of the difference about fear and when fear comes in and when it's intuition. The intuition comes through as a fact. How we react is the fear. And sometimes, we're just not aware of the nuance of the difference. So we get the information, boom, we're afraid. So we think it came through as fear, but it really came through as information, and we react in fear as it's a survival mechanism to kick in that fight or flight response. So we take action fast. So that's that about intuition's messengers. Now, there are a few pitfalls when it comes to intuition, and these we really need to work with and spend time with. And the only way to do that is to practice and be aware and to document, as far as I'm concerned. But again, so we just talked about fear. So fear can be a pitfall to intuition and deepening our intuition, but in a different way. And by fear, I mean when we kind of tune in and we're so afraid we're not going to hear anything or sense anything, we block the information from coming through. So when we are in a fearful place, we tense up and we freeze up, and we sort of close down our channel and make it harder for us to hear or receive information. So fear can be a pitfall. Our ego can be a pitfall, because we want to be right, we want to know. That can be a pitfall. So I'm sharing these are things just to be aware of, so you can say, oh, that's my ego getting in the way, or oh, that's fear getting in the way. And basically in those situations, I suggest you have it step aside, put it in a box for the session or the little bit of time you're trying to work with your intuition, and open it up and let it out later. But while you're working with your intuition, fear aside, ego aside, you want to be a clear and open channel, channeling light, love, and the highest information. The other pitfall, and this is one of the biggies, is disbelief. So many times, there's a great book called The Gift of Fear that I highly recommend, and it's about a guy who actually goes in after, sometimes for hostage situations, all kinds of unusual situations, but he even coaches victims of, abuse and, other crimes and things like that about how to be more intuitive so this doesn't happen again. And what he's found in all of his research is most all of the time their intuition was coming through to tell them that situation was not safe, but they did not heed it. They doubted the information they were receiving. So doubt is our biggest phobia when it comes to, tuning in and tapping in and taking clear action on our intuition. And to me, the best way around doubt is to continue working with your intuition and continue documenting what comes through with your intuition, the action you take on it, and what results from it. That is the best way to begin growing and believing in your intuition, is to document. Keep a journal, a list, a notebook, however is audio recorded, however is most comfortable for you, but definitely document so you can help minimize the doubt and begin trusting your intuition. And then check that book out called The Gift of Fear. I think it's by Gavin DeBecker. It's just an excellent book, and I highly recommend it, especially for women. Lack of confidence. That's kind of closely tied to doubt, because I think the reason we doubt ourselves is because we don't have enough confidence, and often we don't have enough confidence because we haven't worked with our intuition enough. Society, our family, our religion, our spirituality, whatever it may have been, or just our own personality. We stuffed it down, shoved it aside, said it was bad, said it was wrong, whatever it was. We put it aside. So no wonder we don't have confidence in it, and we doubt it. So we really have to let those go and move forward and learn to embrace our intuition. It's a God-given gift. It's a gift that we were all born with, whether you believe in the divine or not. It just like you came with eyes to see and a nose to smell, you came with this intuitive sense that you were born with it. And just like an athlete some people are born with athletic potential and never pursue it. Some people are born with intuitive, senses, but never use them ever. And that while there are others who, become, a racehorse or, Olympic athlete or something like that. So other pitfalls are when we try too hard, especially when we're first learning, we just, we want to connect, we want to receive information. And so we kind of like, to close our eyes and listen or sense things, hoping, it's like we're trying to pull it in. Well, the thing is you need to just sort of be this graceful, sort of open hands approach to intuition. Just open up softly like you were going to catch a butterfly almost, and let the information come into you. This is why in most of my workshops and classes that I teach, I incorporate a lot of play and some fun, because when we're playful and having fun, we stop thinking about fear and doubt and trying too hard and all that, because we're just playing. And as we're playing, all of a sudden we stop playing and the intuitive information starts flowing in, because we've let down our guard, we've eliminated the distractions of lack of confidence, doubt, fear, anxiety, and all that stuff. So also, a couple other pitfalls are being too emotionally attached to a subject. Like if you're wanting to know, is your relationship going to last with your boyfriend, and you've been having a really tough time, and you're just all caught up in that, it's going to be hard for you to decipher your own intuitive information. Not impossible, it just might be a little harder. So that can get in the way. Stress can get in the way. We're living such busy, frenetic lives that oftentimes we never slow down long enough to hear our intuition. And our intuition is a subtle sense. It's a finer sense. So we really do need to have time every day where we're kind of quieting down, periods through the day where we slow down and just be for a minute or two, so we can hear that wisdom that's coming through our body and our intuition. And then the last one is lack of sleep. If you've had, several days or weeks where you're just not sleeping well, just know it's going to, mess with your ability to be able to tune in and hear your intuition. Not impossible, again. It's just going to, you might have to try some other avenues to working towards your intuition or opening your intuition when you're under stress or lacking sleep, or too emotionally attached. We cover a lot of those tips in the classes that I teach. So lastly, let's talk about some of the myths of intuition. So the myths of intuition are only a few people have the gift of intuition. Now, I obviously definitely do not believe this. As I just stated earlier, I think it's something we're all born with. It's just a natural part of who we are. It's just some of us work that muscle more than others, or for whatever reason, some of us come in feeling open to using it more than others, and so we do. And the second myth is that we have to wait for insight to come to us. We think of those situations where people said, I had a gut feeling, I just knew out of the blue. So we feel like, boom, it's like eureka, it just happens sporadically. But you can actually tune in on purpose to your intuition every day, throughout the day. I do it all the time. So it's not something that you have to wait to come to you. It is actually something you can go out and invite in. So it's not like you can pull it in, because again, it's receiving, but you can open your hands and be available for it to come to you. So and the third myth is that intuition works the same for everyone. Liz, when we were talking about the 8 clairsenses, I kind of emphasized that be aware of your own unique intuitive personality, because it does not work the same for everybody. I have a lot of friends that are intuitives, that are professional psychics, that are just highly intuitive, going about their life, and their intuition comes to them in very different ways, comes to all of us in different ways. And that's sort of the beauty and the charm. It's just like our own own personalities, and what makes us unique and interesting is that it comes through our personality. So know that your intuition is as unique as you are. So the other one, which is a really good one, is if you're psychic, you're going to know all the bad things before they happen, and therefore you'll be able to avoid them. Well, I wish that were true, but that's just not the case. So burst that bubble, sorry, right now. It gives you a leg up in the sense that, you know, when you're tapped into your intuition, you're able to navigate life much more fluidly. You're able to live in the flow much better. You are able to preempt some things, but I believe the reason why we can't foresee and don't foresee everything that's coming down the pike for ourselves is because we are here on a spiritual journey to learn spiritual lessons. And so some things we're not meant to know ahead of time. So that's just the way that goes. And I think most every intuitive I know would agree with that. And let's see. So that's it. We covered the messengers, we covered the pitfalls, and we covered some of the myths to intuition. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about some of intuition's helpmates, and then later on, we'll also give you concrete steps on how to tune into your intuition. So stick with me in this video series, Intuition Primer, Your Magical Inner Compass. This is Natalie Eve Marquis from The Wisdom Within. Thank you for joining me.